recording live on the internet? Tell your neighbors to stop banging.
You got some sort of construction going on back there.
Well, I should bring that totem pole over here, put it in the middle of both of you.
That would be good.
We have 13
that-
people watching if you want to.
We do what?
We have 13 people watching.
Okay.
Yeah, start speaking.
That would be good, to bring the prop in, but no, we can't do that right now. It'll give away our location here on a beautiful October 9 afternoon in an undisclosed location on the Spacey Coast with an undisclosed person next to me that you'll meet shortly
That will be
in our show
disclosed.
today. What?
That will be disclosed shortly.
We're disclosed shortly. We're not on the air, are we? I'm smoking a cigar. I better put it away. You little kids watching, you didn't see that.
It was a fake
Never, when Mitt Romney gets elected, there will be no more nicotine, no more Coca-Cola, no more coffee. We will be a clean society. Hi, Tom Trento, welcoming everyone on the radio side, WNN 1470 in Boca. As you know, we've changed our studio around a little bit. Put these fancy pictures and put some wall switches in to make it look homey. We're here today. We're on TrentoVision.tv, as you know. And today we got a bunch of stuff for you, kind of a relaxed feel. We're always relaxed around here.
Absolutely.
But we deal with very serious information. We got 28 days left to victory. Hey, we declared a victory back on October 3rd when President Bill Maher, he's the guy that gave the president $1 million donation. I think he has the best line so far. He said, "It looks like Obama took my $1 million and bought weed with it," right? Yeah, that, can any one moment in history be a defining moment? We'll go back to 1960 at the Kennedy Nixon debate when Nixon was on TV sweating with 5 o'clock shadow and all that. Everybody, but that's a scary guy. And the youthful John Kennedy defeated him. I voted for the youthful John Kennedy. I was a little kid in school, and we had a mock election. And we had one in our studio the other day, and out of 5 people, all 5 voted for Romney. So our poll says Romney's going to win, but on October 3rd, ladies and gentlemen, you saw truly an historic moment in the shift of the psyche of the American people. Because notwithstanding the fact that the left argues vociferously that their movies and the stuff they produce that is designed for degenerates, much of it, doesn't really affect anyone. They spend millions of dollars, people, in 30-second spots to frame and formulate public opinion. Because we know visual images like us talking to you right now and us speaking over the radio, words and pictures influence the way people think. Well, spending $150 million to frame the way the American public perceived Mr. Romney was somewhat successful until October 3rd, that evening in Denver, Colorado, where that $150 million, you idiot donors, George Clooney and Matt Damon, and you guys are nitwits. Keep
3-1. The people are calling this a 3-1 that Obama lost. I mean, you can't.
It was amazing. But the idiot Hollywood, anybody writing checks to Obama now, what is going on in your mind? United West, write some checks to us. But whatever's going on in your mind writing checks for Obama, you might as well take that check or that money and just light it on fire. You're wasting your money. The guy has lost. He is now thinking, you could see it in his eyes. Look carefully in his eyes.
Can't see his eyes. He had his head down through the whole debate.
Yeah, you can. He had his head down. Particularly when he's off prompter. You could see in his eyes, he's thinking, Hawaii, I'm going back to Hawaii. I'm gonna be Bill Clinton. Barack Obama wants to be Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton must have the coolest life in the world. Okay, his wife is nowhere around. He
with
doesn't like
Hillary.
his wife, right?
Hillary's gone.
Not with
She's
Hillary.
gone, saving the world as a Secretary of State. She's out of here. He's got New York. He's got Hollywood. He's got this guy.
He's looking like a prince, yeah.
First of all, here's the beautiful thing about Democrats, and this show, as you know, folks, is designed to provide information to educate factually American voters for 28 days from today. In particular, we're concerned about Florida because Florida is, we knew 2 years ago, Florida was going to be the most significant state. It is so significant now, it isn't funny. But here we have Bill Clinton, an individual, if I'm not mistaken, he was impeached, okay? The House of Representatives impeached him for perjury. He lied to a grand jury regarding his activities with Monica Lewinsky in the White House, in the Oval Office, right? I mean, apart from, seems like a great guy you have a beer with and hang out and all that, smoke a cigar. Oops, cigar. What are you doing?
I haven't shut it off.
You're a popular guy here.
Shut it off. It's not-
We like to smoke cigars once in a while. Our team, it's a cheap way of just kind of relaxing and thinking. Bill Clinton likes to smoke cigars, and he's found other creative ways of using cigars. But here's the Hail Mary for the Democrat Party right now. Let's pull Bill Clinton out of New York or wherever he is, getting money from the Saudis and all of that. Let's make him the prototypical model for ethical behavior and good political judgment. And he can't stand Barack Obama, but he knows that he needs the Democrats to be in power so that his wife has a chance to keep staying away from him. They pull Bill Clinton out and make him the model for what Democrats should be looking for, propping up Barack Obama. Conversely, President Obama sees Bill Clinton and goes, I want your job, man. You are like the world president. You can do whatever you want. You get $100,000 a pop for your crazy speeches. You're treated like royalty. You got Secret Service for the rest of your life. And you don't have to read intelligence reports anymore. You don't have to do the work of the White House, do the work of governing. You see, ideologues, as I've said so many times, they don't want to govern. They want to move young, dumb minds or older, dumb minds in a particular philosophical position. And that's what Obama wants to do. But when you sit in the White House, you have to be an executive. He's not. Mitt Romney is. So our show is designed to allow Floridians to realize, particularly the Democrats out there, you don't have to vote for this president. Mitt Romney will save the economy, will be strong on national security, and he's not going to screw around with Israel, as we're seeing. Speaking about Israel, yesterday we had a very interesting show. We got a lot of positive response on it. Mark Langfan was on, our good friend. He had these maps, and if anybody wants one of these, Mark's going to give us quite a few to distribute. You can write to me, Tom, at trentovision.tv. We will take some calls today. We have Joe in the booth who will take your call, send it to us. I'm getting texts here in our high. People are laughing about what we're saying here. And it is so sad that it is humorous. But I got to just reiterate for a couple of minutes what we did yesterday with Mark. I'm looking at these amazing maps. And the reason why it's so important is because yesterday Mitt Romney also delivered his foreign policy speech. And he assured the Israelis and he assured Americans that he understands the battlefield metrics that are so critical. And the way you understand the battlefield metrics for 7 million Israelis sitting in the sea of 330 million enemies is you have to understand the geography and topography of this little piece of dirt. Here, down here, we have Gaza, 20 miles by about 2 or 3 miles. We're zooming in. Oh, there we go. About 20, 21 miles long by a couple of miles wide. And then the West Bank, a big chunk of dirt over there with mountains. Mark's thesis, Mark Langfan yesterday's thesis was very simple. He said, if anybody gives these positions to sworn enemies, and you allow them to freely build a country, then you have to allow them to freely arm. Well, if you don't, it's got to be demilitarized. They're not going to go for that. They're going to feel that they're a free nation. They need a military. And and that would be like all of you wonderful folks living in L.A. Orange County is allowed to have its own military, and it hates everybody living in L.A. Or Corona, Corona, California can have its own army, and it hates everybody in L.A. You go, what are you, crazy? They can kill us from where they are. Well, that was the whole thesis on why Israel cannot give up the West Bank, which is Judea, Samaria, or Gaza, and allow any sort of militarization to take place. But then if you go to the other side of Mark's material, Mark Langfan, not Mark Campbell, you see that Israel, and you don't have to read all this stuff right now, you see that Israel becomes a de facto NATO gold standard of national defense, not just for the United States, but for all of NATO, as it is an armed, self-defensible country that has Western values. And unlike what Erdogan said, Erdogan is the president of Turkey, on September 13, 2011, just about a year ago, President Erdogan said in Cairo, what is the Turkey guy doing in Cairo? He's hanging out with the Brotherhood now. He said in Cairo to thronging crowds, they're always thronging in Cairo at Tahrir Square, he said that an Egypt-Turkish alliance, this is 1 year ago, would form a force of 150 million people strong. And we, Egypt and Turkey united, are substantially surrounding the Mediterranean. If you look carefully, you could see Turkey, that big brown thing right there, and then Egypt, that little yellow guy, Israel, then Egypt down here. Turkey and Egypt would surround the Mediterranean. And Mark Langfan said yesterday that if theoretically Israel is gone, whether it's gone by giving up land and then becoming neutralized militarily, or whether it's gone through a nuclear strike by Iran, or whatever, as soon as Israel's gone, the Shia in Iran will view this as a blessed gift from Allah to advance on other Sunni nations like Jordan and eventually Saudi Arabia. And Egypt will also recognize that it's our time, our manifest destiny. Now you got bad guys forming an Arab and Persian coalition to take the oil capabilities of Saudi Arabia and control the world's economy. How does that stop? By a gigantic nuclear war that the United States has to be in to stop the advancement. That's what most likely would happen, many people believe. That's why leaving Israel there strong and supporting Israel with no space between, as Mitt Romney said, is essential, my Jewish brothers and sisters, essential to the protection of your children going to yeshivas and Jewish day schools and all of that in the United States. Why am I speaking to Jewish people? Because you guys can truly swing the election. Stop writing your checks to the Democrat Party and break loose for the sake of the globe and vote for Mitt Romney.
You brought up a good point the other day, Tom, when you said, can things get any worse?
Right.
If you could reiterate that, that'd be great.
Yeah, Mark and I and a few others were talking the other day, and we just were throwing out scenarios, and we do a lot of work to analyze material and think things through, and you have to speculate. That's the job of people doing intelligence work. So we said, let's say theoretically Mitt Romney gets elected. That was a couple of days ago. Actually, he's going to get elected, okay? You could feel and sense the momentum. Let's say he gets elected. Is he going to treat Israel any less importantly as Obama would treat Israel? The answer is Of course not. He's gonna treat him equally the way Obama does, and by definition, he will treat Israel much more greatly than Obama ever would, because number one, he gets the big picture. He's got great advisors like Walid Faris guiding him through the Middle East minefield. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, Mitt Romney is a personal friend of Benjamin Netanyahu. And whether Netanyahu stays the prime minister for the next 10 years or not, he's going to be a central figure leading Israel through some very difficult days. You want that Romney-Netanyahu bond, because that capital invested in joining with Israel pays huge dividends to all of us enjoying safety in the United States. That's what happened yesterday. Now we're going to move, Mark, and then we'll move on.
It really boils down to this. Do you want to have someone who lets Netanyahu in the back door, through the kitchen, past the garbage cans, puts Morsi ahead of him, or do you want someone that says, "Hey, Bibi, how you doing? Come on in here, have a seat." And that's the difference.
Mark's saying that, can't hear you.
Okay.
Mark's saying that President Obama treated, in a very real sense, Benjamin Netanyahu like many of the blacks were treated in Atlanta before the civil rights laws were passed. Second-class citizen, goes in the back door, not allowed to eat the food that the folks, kosher food. It was ironic, but that's what happens to ideologues who have no ethical base, and this president has no ethical base. He's the furthest thing in the world from a real-life Christian. You can say all you want, I believe in Jesus Christ. If your policies, if your beliefs are in complete opposition to Jesus Christ, and a Christian is a follower of Jesus Christ, you're not a Christian, or you're a very bad Christian, either way. But the bottom line is, Obama treated Netanyahu like a second-class citizen in front of the world. Imagine if he wins in 29 days from today, Obama, how he's going to treat Israel. Wake up, people.
Tom, you mentioned something.
Hang on, I'm going to segue to you, okay?
Pardon.
The way to wake up America is to talk to this guy right here and what he represents. Our show today is designed to introduce many of you to an organization you probably have heard of. If not, you need to hear of. And it's a phenomenal organization doing great work and protecting the U.S. Constitution, protecting and defending the right of Israel to exist, fighting Islamic jihad. And we're in the Space Coast because tonight I'm speaking at a meeting. We'll get into that. But we're in the Space Coast because we are the guests of Act for America, the Space Coast chapter, led by Roger the G-Man Gangitano. Say hello to everybody.
Afternoon, everyone.
You got to project a little bit.
I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, how are you today? I wanted to say one thing you just mentioned about Obama with his ethical background. If you went and take a look at Reverend Wright's church, there isn't anything on their website. I've not gone to their church. I have no desire to. But as far as I've looked into it, there isn't anything on there that's the teachings of Jesus Christ. It's a black church. I don't have anything against blacks having their own things, but a church should not be targeted purely towards the goals and things that benefit blacks. That's not what a Christian church does. So Obama, living inside this church world with Reverend Wright, teaching hatred, for everyone that's not black, that's what he learned inside of Reverend Wright's church. So if you look into it and you think that Reverend Wright's church is a Christian church, it's a Christian church, and I have no idea why, because it doesn't teach anything about Christ. I'm a Roman Catholic, and what I saw on their website certainly was not consistent with what I learned as a Christian growing up. So I just wanted to toss that in. For those who look into these things, the information is there that's irrefutable. You can find the information out, and if you see that that's what influenced Obama, you're not going to believe that he is a typical Christian. He is not.
Yeah.
Google Black Liberation Theology.
Yeah, that's the key. The Trinity Church, where President Obama went for 20 years, the doctrine is not the Bible. It's James Cone's book, Black Power, basically. And Black Liberation Theology simply says that salvation is collective. a quick theology lesson, okay, for all you folks listening. The message of biblical Christianity is that man is separated from God, and Jesus Christ connects man and God together in a personal relationship with Christ. And then you recognize you're a sinner, you ask forgiveness, and then you follow the Holy Spirit, the direction of God in your life to live an ethical life. Black liberation theology, but it's a personal salvation. Each human being on the face of the earth has an obligation before God to unite and correct their relationship personally. Black liberation theology, which is Trinity Church in Chicago, where Obama went for 20 years but never heard a sermon. He went there for 20 years but never heard anything negative. Black liberation theology is simply saying that society has wronged the weak people. Okay, that's pretty good so far. And society needs to be transformed, and there needs to be a collective growing together of the weak and underprivileged, breaking out of that and defeating those who are in control. And basically, when you get past the flowery language, it's capitalism is the evil Satan in the world. Redistribution of wealth makes collective salvation, where everybody can have an equal job, equal pay, all of that. It's a social gospel. Has very little to do with the spiritual elements of mankind. That's where Obama went to church, because that's what he does. He's a community organizer committed to the social concerns, not the spiritual concerns
and the
of
key word
mankind.
to look out for in all that is the word social justice. You'll see that word pop up in the EPA. You'll see that pop up all over the place. Social justice is what we're talking about, what he's talking about.
And when you hear these words used on the left and by Obama, social justice, it's not what people on the right mean when they use words like that. But let's get to Act for America. Yep. Tell everybody basically what Act for America is, how it's broken down, and what your role is.
Act for America is a grassroots organization. Our motto is we're rising in defense of our security, our liberty, and our values. It was started by Brigitte Gabriel.
Great lady, does tremendous work.
Absolutely.
Here's her picture right here.
And that's her first book, okay, that she wrote. And it tells basically the life of that she led in Lebanon. She's an Arab Christian. And Islam started attacking in Lebanon when it was a Christian country. It's no longer a Christian country, but she left there eventually. This is the book that tells that. This is her second book. This book tells, the first one tells...
On sale right now, ladies and gentlemen.
This book will tell of her life and how she came to America and why she came here. This book will tell more of what Islam is and why they hate.
Why is she picking her nose, Roger? What's going on with that?
I think that was a candid shot. That's what.
Hey, Brigitte, bad picture, baby. You know.
So Brigitte came to America, and she started an organization called Act for Congressional Truth. That evolved into Act for America. We have now grown to over 710 chapters nationwide.
This is really amazing. One lady came over, had a vision. Now, for those of you who know Brigitte or have heard her speak, she's got a phenomenal story and tremendous amount of fire and passion.
Yes, she does.
She should serve as a model for everyone, that anybody, when they commit themselves to something, can be very effective in what they do. And over these next 28 days, we're going to ask you to commit yourself to something. You may not start an organization with how many people now?
240,000 members nationwide. We also have international members, which I do not think are included in the 240,000. So the organization is growing exponentially over the past few years. The subject matter that we cover and the mission statement and our goals is certainly something that's very important to everyone in the country. It's an excellent organization, actforamerica.org. And I'm proud that I'm a chapter leader, and I have one of the larger chapters in Florida. I did not start this chapter, but I've been asked to take it over from another chapter leader who has now gone back to teach in the military. I don't want to mention any names, but he certainly deserves all of the credit.
He does. He's a great guy. We all know him.
He really is, and he handed me a turnkey operation basically to try to keep afloat. And
It said, "Don't crash, Roger.
that's what he
Don't
said.
crash it."
Keep the ship off the rocks. That's what I'm trying to do. But Act for America truly is a grassroots organization. The people get involved. We stay informed. We're involved, okay, with trying to pass American laws for American courts.
I'm going to ask you. We're going to go through a few different things. So generally, you got a big organization. Didn't start out that way. What year did it start?
Sometime shortly
Five?
after, well, it was transitioned from Act from Congressional Truth. I believe Act for America came into play around 2002 or 2003. That was before my time with the organization, but it was a transition from Act for Congressional Truth over to Act for America.
That was back in about 2006. When
About
that happened.
2004,
Was it
5, 6. around there, I
2006?
think.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So that's really phenomenal growth of 250,000 people.
absolutely.
How many chapters?
710 across the nation right now.
710. And the United West, Tom Trento, our team. By the way, it's bottom of the hour here. We're at TrentoVision.tv. Tell your friends to start tuning in. More and more people are tuning in, listening on the radio. A lot of people are watching the show in the evening because they got dumb bosses that won't let them watch a great show while they're doing work.
Isn't that something?
At least they got a job.
amazing,
right?
you know?
I know. Bad bosses, but it's important for everybody to know we're on WNN 1470. So it means if you're driving anywhere from Miami to Fort Pierce, you can hit that 1470 and listen. Same channel that Brian Craig and Steve Kane are on. They're on from 6 to 9 in the morning. And as I've said many times, their job is to pound Obama into oblivion. And then we pick up at 2 o'clock and continue the pounding. And you can also listen on iHeartRadio. It gives you great digital sound. Our show is repeated every night, 8 to 9 o'clock. So this show right now, if you have to jump out of your car and go do something, you can listen on WNN website or on iHeartRadio, listen to the show. Or if you are privileged enough to be by a smartphone, iPhone, Android, any of that computer, you can actually watch it. We're broadcasting on the internet a radio show, so you can get both senses going on. We're at the bottom of the hour. We're talking about Act for America, amazing organization. And our desire today is to mobilize the ACT members, more so than they have been mobilized, than they are being mobilized, if that's possible. Is that possible?
Well, they're pretty active members. They really are. Okay, and we're well informed thanks to ACT National. We get reports once you sign up. If you go to actforamerica.org, you can sign up at the organization and you'll be given what we refer to as action alerts. And I just have 2 of them right in front of me here. But from August, from October 1st, okay, this one is describing the Libya debacle. Our organization doesn't endorse candidates of any kind.
I do. They don't,
Okay.
but I do.
Well, the point is that they're going to take a position on what's going on in the world with reference to Islam, radical Islam, Sharia, the Muslim Brotherhood. And if a candidate falls on the wrong side of those subjects, we're also not prohibited from free speech in this organization. We believe in that. So we're going to mention
stuff.
all of that and bring it all in. Here's from October 8th, just yesterday. Okay, the Muslim Brotherhood is offended, and they've destroyed a soldier's career, all right, because he taught a campaign that was entitled Islamic Radicalism. So they destroyed this excellent soldier's career because he used words that are offensive
That's
to
Dooley?
Islam.
Was that Dooley?
That's Dooley.
Yeah, we had Tom Lynch. We had Tom Lynch on, who is his attorney. We had him on the show a while back. So these are the action alerts. We're letting everyone at home know how ACT works. And for the record, I think it is important. Roger's not here supporting any candidates. As the ACT chapter leader, he can't do that. They're nonpartisan. They're fighting Islamic jihad and other things. Tom Trento, on the other hand, I can do whatever I want, okay? And I'm against President Obama and for Mitt Romney. So, but these are great. And
I am permitted to say, okay, I am permitted to say that Obama has certainly not been a friend, okay, to the right, okay, and those beliefs, okay, that your organization, which I'm happy.
You're friends with,
I
and
am
everything.
friends with
yeah.
your organization, all right, and very proud to be friendly with your organization. But Obama certainly has not been conducive to working against radical Islam. He has done everything to favor Islam whenever possible. He's as you have so eloquently stated in the past, he is a strong horse when weakening America, and a weak horse when
Oy
strengthening
vey,
America.
oy vey. That's so frustrating, that
That's
whole
it.
thing.
So I would say this to everyone. Okay, let me get this out before I forget to say it. At our national website, actforamerica.org, you can click on find the chapter that's near you, and it will bring you up according to your state, all of the chapters that are local to you. You can get involved. There's no cost. We certainly do accept donations, but there's no cost to be a member of Act for America, and you'll stay informed. I have a lot of people that ask me when they don't realize that
Did
I'm
you plug this in?
associated.
Yeah, you did.
When they don't realize I'm associated and they just meet me and they want to know how I know all of the things that I do, I learn a lot of the information that I learn through the organizations that I'm associated with, Act for America, United West, and information like this that keeps us informed as to what's going on in the news. No one person could look it up all on their own. So it's important that people get involved to be informed. If you're not involved, you can't be informed.
So let's get them involved right now.
And I think it's important also to reiterate that it's not a conservative organization. It is a open to anybody to come in.
Absolutely.
And independents, liberals, anybody who wants to come in.
Libertarians, whatever.
Absolutely.
Right.
The organizing elements for Act for America are a love and respect and commitment to the United States Constitution, okay? A love, respect, and commitment. A love and respect and commitment to the State of Israel as our national security partner, and then a hatred, a proper hatred toward Islamic jihad. And you're hearing a lot of terms about the savagery of Islamic jihad. That's simply what it is. When jihadis fulfilling what they believe is their manifest destiny, their theocratic call, just go in and kill innocent babies for no reason at all. This is savagery. You've got to hate that. In the West, we come to see that the destruction of innocent human life is something that is not consistent with a civilized man. So those principles are unifying principles for involvement with Act for America. You could be a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian, a nothing, whatever. Now,
I want to add one thing, okay, to that. Okay, if you read Brigitte Gabriel's book, okay, specifically this one, They Must Be Stopped, okay, she doesn't just try to convince you that they must be stopped, okay, right on the title of the cover, okay, it says why they must be stopped. So it's not a hatred for others, it's
Yes,
a hatred
I
for
got
what
it.
opposes our way of life. Okay, our slogan, as I said before, was rising in defense of our security, our liberty, and our values. So those are the things that we focus on, and we hate the things that destroy those things. So it's not just a blind hatred. It is a dislike and an opposition to those things that are out to destroy our way of life.
which is why we have soldiers in theater killing jihadis, because they're trying to kill us. All we're doing is fighting the cultural end. Act for America fights the cultural end. A couple of key points. I'm speaking at your event this evening.
Yes.
Tell everybody when and where and how they can get there and what they have to do.
The Act for America Space Coast chapter meeting will be held this evening at 6:30 at the Government Center in Viera, in Building C, that's on Judge Fran Jameson Way in Viera, Florida. We have ample seating, and we expect a good turnout tonight, so if you would like to hear Tom Trento speak directly, you'd want to get to our meeting a little bit earlier than 6:30, which is the start time, but there isn't a bad seat in the house. It's held right inside the county commissioner's chambers. So we look forward to having everyone there. We have a multitude of people that I know are going to be showing up to hear you speak tonight, Tom. You're a well-respected guy, knowledgeable. Okay, and we're looking forward to an excellent presentation. Don't let me down.
No, I think we'll have a good time this evening. Now, Viera, I didn't even know Viera existed. Okay, Viera is basically Melbourne, right? The
Yes,
northern
it
end
is.
of
It's the
Melbourne.
north end of Melbourne.
North end of Melbourne, Bourne, the fancy spelling. Melbourne, Florida. And if for some reason you can't make it here, like if you're in California or Europe or wherever you are, but you would like to be there, guess what? Through the magic of TrentoVision.tv, we will stream this for you. We're going to broadcast it live this evening starting at 6:30. We're going to broadcast the whole thing. What time do I get on?
I've got about probably about 10 or 15 minutes worth of chapter stuff to take care of, okay, just to bring my members up to speed as to what we've been doing, and then I'm going to try to cut all of that short to give you as much time as possible, as I want all my members to hear your views on this situation that we're facing. Just 28
America
days
in
from now.
crisis.
Yeah, America in crisis.
28 days to go. Well, that's good. They can tune in at 6:30 this evening, East Coast time. They can watch a little bit of how a meeting is managed.
That's right.
And you as the chapter leader. How many members do you have? How many members in a typical chapter?
Well, the chapters vary considerably. Okay, you don't have to have a large number of people to run a chapter. We've got some chapters that are basically a handful of people, 2, 3, 5 people. But our particular chapter, we have a few hundred members. I'd say at a typical meeting, generally speaking, we have 75, 80 people, okay, that could show up to a typical meeting. I expect more than that this evening because of our special speaker.
I heard he's pretty good.
He's not a bad guy, okay? He's not a bad guy at all.
Yeah.
But
He gets lucky once in a while.
Yeah, the meeting's generally okay. We have about 75 to 80 people that generally show up. They are all very well informed because they get their action alerts from ACT National. We do the best. I do my best as a chapter leader. I have an excellent core group of members. I've got about another dozen people inside of my core group that help keep the focus on the information that we have. We have some people that are very, very knowledgeable about their focus of attention on Islam. Again, I'm not going to mention any names as but they're famous people. When I say famous, okay, locally, they have done television shows on the colleges on these subjects, okay, of Sharia, Islam.
So you guys are you're like a motorcycle gang without the motorcycles.
And without the tattoos. We don't all have tattoos, okay? So.
But here's the point we want to make today, because it's a very serious point. We have 28 days left.
Yes.
Act for America is a sophisticated organization. I'm going to ask you in a second to give specifics for your ACT people or others as to how they can participate in the 28 days. Because we're beyond theory, folks. And for those of you who are undecided, give me a break, okay? Really, if anybody's undecided, give us a call. We'll take calls today. 888-565-1470. 888-565-1470. If you are undecided, I don't understand it. And we will respectfully listen to you to explain how you can be undecided 28 days out with all the information that you realize when people had to vote for President Lincoln or Roosevelt or any of these guys. I mean, they maybe got a piece of paper once a month explaining something. You can go to this thing now, push a button, and know more about anything going on than anyone ever on the face of the earth. How could you be undecided? What that really means to the undecided says you don't have a solid political philosophy by which you view the world and by which you look for political policy to articulate your belief system. You don't know really what you believe. Liberalism, conservatism, I'm this, a little bit of that, I don't like that guy. You're undecided in who you are and what your objectives in life are. That's what undecided means, because these two individuals are so distinctly different that an objective person looking at it can never be undecided between socialism and capitalism. All you have to, my undecided friends, is ask yourself, do you believe in a socialist economy where money is taken, tax money, going to Washington, and a bunch of bureaucrats in Washington make a decision as to how that tax money gets spent for the good of the nation, or whether you believe that minimally the money should stay at a state level, minimum federal tax money, the money should stay at a state level, and then even more on a capitalist system, the wage earner keeps most of it, and uses his money the way he chooses to. And if he wants to give money to nonprofits and donate money, they can do it that way. All you got to know is whether you're a socialist or a capitalist. If you're a socialist, you vote for Obama. If you're a capitalist, you vote for Romney. If you're undecided, you vote for Romney. If you don't know what you believe, you'll be better off. America will last longer in a capitalist motif than a socialist motif. So forget about trying to figure out who you're going to vote for. You vote for Romney, then in the next year or two you can make up your mind as to what your political philosophy is. Roger, tell everybody 2 or 3 things they can do specifically to participate in educating voters. That's what you guys do. You educate voters.
Well, come to a meeting, okay? Get involved, okay? Get onto our chapter website. Enter your name. We will send you emails. We don't sell anyone's emails. We don't use it for anything but internal communication for those people that have signed up on our website. So join Act for America. Get onto our website, actforamerica.org. All right?
Will you be doing a voter guide by any chance?
We do. We have, but a lot of this information comes in because we have associations that we're friendly with, like yours. We have experts around the country that we support and whose views are submitted. Chris Ann Hall is a constitutional attorney. Okay, she is someone that we listen to.
We've seen her. She's great.
A lot of the guidance, okay, it comes from ACT National as they get involved politically. We have people that are involved with addressing the people in Washington directly. If you want to be involved locally, certainly Act for America. We don't get involved locally with the politics, okay, of local politics. We don't endorse candidates, but we certainly, all of our members will be found at political events going on around town. We have our candidates that we support, those people that are considered conservatives. I would like to add,
it goes beyond the presidential race.
Absolutely.
Act for America goes down. You dig down greatly. So here's what people can do who are listening and watching. And again, if you're just tuning in, whether on the radio, WNN 1470, or on the internet, TrentoVision.tv, Tom Trento with Roger Gangitano, good Italian guy. We're going to go eat some Italian food when the show's over.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Roger Gangitano is the chapter leader for the Space Coast chapter of Act for America. Act for America was started by Brigitte Gabriel, and then ably run by Guy Rogers and Kelly Cook. Those guys are friends. They do tremendous work, and there's other staff members, obviously. But what you can do is get in touch through the internet, actforamerica.org, and then either contact the main office or contact chapters and say, look, I want to get involved in this election. And they'll tell you, we're not going to tell you who to vote for, but you can come and we'll show you people that, I've seen your voter guides, various issues on Islamic jihad, on American laws for American courts, on the Constitution, on voting records of Muslim Brotherhood, as it relates to the Muslim Brotherhood. You can, through getting engaged and involved with ACT people, become greatly educated on where to stand on the issues, not just at a federal level, but drilling down to municipal level, federal, state, municipal. And through interacting with those people, you can get involved with candidates, because my guess is every ACT person is involved with a candidate on their personal time.
Absolutely. Okay, many of us, okay, are out there sign waving, okay, and supporting our local candidates. The ones
not as ACT, but
not as ACT, as people. I mean, right. You don't give up your individuality when you're part of an organization. You can be part of multitudes of organizations, as I am. I'm a member of.
You're a member of like 47 different organizations.
Well, 46. Don't 46, exaggerate. Okay. But we try. I found something. I'd like to say something. Okay, I talk to a lot of people as you don't hear me, I'm trying to stay quiet on the show a little bit, but I'm really kind of open, and I talk to an awful lot of people about politics and Islam and Sharia law, the Muslim Brotherhood, and I find that a lot of people who are opposed or on the left of this ideology and thinking, okay, they really don't look into it. They're on the left because they're diehard or traditional Democrats, and they side with that philosophy blindly. If you hand them facts, they reject. It's not that they don't want to know the truth, okay, because the truth is different for everyone. My truth, everyone else's say, is different than someone else's truth. But they reject what you're saying. When you give them a fact, they reject it if it goes against their belief, and because they don't want to change. They want to remain a Democrat. And there's that kind of loyalty. I do not find that with people on the right. We search out the truth. We search out reasons, okay? It's hard to turn around and say that there's a biased story here when a soldier is taken out of his position and his career is ruined because he used the words Islamic radicalism. Those words are forbidden, okay? They've been removed.
You know, that you raise a very good point, and our primary concern today is to introduce you to Act for America, great organization doing excellent work defending the Constitution, defending the State of Israel, and working to defeat Islamic Jihad, or as you guys call it, radical Islam. Tell your bosses a better term is Islamic Jihad, because the jihadis are not radicals. They're doing basically what their doctrines tell them to do. The radicals are the ones who aren't following it. That's another story, another time. But
I'm going to get on the phone with them in a
there you
moment.
go. You can tell them to change
Call
the
Bridget right directly, okay? Brigitte, I'm sorry.
You gotta, yeah. Where was I going with all of that? I forgot what I was going to say.
You titled, okay, that we shouldn't call it.
I need my cigar. The reason why we're here today is to explain Act for America for everybody, so that you can participate, because I'm convinced Romney is going to win in 28 days. And even if he does, guess what? The world doesn't change overnight. What Act for America is doing, particularly as it's defending the Constitution, defending the State of Israel, and fighting jihad, that type of work is going to be needed greatly. There's going to be a backlash against a Romney victory like you can't believe. And I would not be surprised if you see rioting in the streets of major cities. They're going to say,
Tom, the Act for America was started because Brigitte came to this country, and when they attacked on 9/11 in 2001, Brigitte realized that they were coming here, and Islam, radical Islam, okay, the Islamists followed. Not her, but they came here behind her. And that's why she started this organization. So the fight was long before Obama. And it will be here long after Obama. It's the caliphate that the Islamists want. Okay, if you look at the expansion of Islam across the Middle East and in Europe, you can see what's going on. We're only 20 years behind what's happening in Europe, and they're in a lot of trouble over there with regard to Islam. We've had people like Gert Wilders that have come here and tried to warn us as to what's going on. Trevor Loudon. There's an awful lot of people that travel around, and they come from other countries, and they talk to us specifically to keep us strong in the fight. There are so many people that just don't understand. It's not that I see it differently than what they do. But if I'm involved with this and I learn the facts, you don't have to come to meetings to get this. If you're part of Act for America, they can communicate with you by email. If you don't have email,
I got
it's pretty much not in the 21st century, so you got to...
All right, we got a call. Let me
I want to bring up one quick point.
Make it quick.
And just let the audience know, is when Romney gets elected, this issue is not going away.
No, it's not going away.
We're going to hold his feet to the fire.
That's right.
As much as we held Obama's feet to the fire.
That's a very good point. The issue is not going away because the jihadis are going to be pissed like you can't believe that they lost their guy in the White House. So they're going to be more aggressive. And we got to support Mitt Romney.
Absolutely.
Big battle. But we have a caller who has a question. Yeah, come on, caller. What's your name?
You have to repeat the question for him.
Hello, caller. Yes. What's your question?
Put it on speaker.
Yes, I can hear you.
On speaker.
Yes. Yep. Go ahead. Ask your question. Or Joe, you can tell them to ask the question. Yes.
Can you put it on speaker?
All right, ask your question, and you're 100% right, but excellent point. All right, thank you for that. What the caller said, and the TV people couldn't hear the question. I'll repeat it. He simply, or anybody here couldn't hear it. He simply said that he appreciates what we said earlier about Reverend Wright, and but he was on a radio show earlier, the caller, and they took it back even further to where President Obama was trained in Indonesia as a child. Then he went back to Hawaii, and through Frank Marshall Davis, communism training, then Occidental, and so he's had all this leftist, socialist, Marxist training, completely unprepared for this position, which you saw on October 3rd, 2012. And the reason the world is different than 2008, because for whatever the way human nature is, everybody wants a Messiah, and a black Messiah came along 4 years ago, was not term vetted, was not investigated, that's a better term, and was given a pass by the mainstream media. Well, I don't know. The mainstream media is in an existential crisis right now, because they're seeing their guy ain't doing it, but their guy ain't Mitt Romney, because they believe completely differently. So we got 28 days, got a couple of minutes left. Roger, it was just a comment. He was just commenting on the fact that Obama is really completely unprepared to
many
lead,
of the people,
and his preparation goes against American principles. That was the caller's comment.
and those people who are just blindly loyal to the left or to the Democratic Party, they don't see this, they don't learn it. If you talk about Frank Marshall Davis, they don't know who he is, they don't understand the background of Obama, they haven't seen 2016, they just don't know. They're informed about what they see on the left.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Have you noticed that, generally speaking, if you got 100 Democrats, generally speaking, 85 of them make decisions from their heart more than their head?
Yes, easily. Okay, they are predisposed to the thinking of the left. They are resistant to hear anything that is opposed to that. As people on the right, I don't think we're resistant to hearing the other side. We hear it, we try to respond intelligently to it. I spoke to a delegate at large from the Democratic Party, and I offered him the information that's available on, just because it came up, Obama's birth certificate. His answers were not logical. Okay, they just weren't logical. I mean, I don't claim to be, an extremely educated person, but I am logical. I offered him the proof that is out there from companies like Ecom Consultants, Mara Zbest report, Joe Arpaio's research. And his response to me was that he sent me the...
You're a racist. You're a hater. You're a racist.
No. He sent me the announcement that the birth certificate was available on the White House website. Now, that announcement was made when it first came out. They took the birth certificate and they did all of the studies on it. So they're just not logical.
Yeah, and that's been my experience, ladies and gentlemen, not just through this cycle, but I've been doing this a long time. I spent many years on college campuses, probably 1,000 debates easily, campuses, TV, radio, with the left, communists, Marxists, socialists, leftists, everybody you can imagine. My personal experience, which I think is definitive in many respects, is that a typical person who is not a conservative, who's a Democrat, leftist, left, center, and over, they come at issues with an emotional grid and filter, and they look at them that way, and if there's pain and suffering, then they go toward the symptom, not the root cause of the problem, whereas conservatives, more analytically, look at root causes. So we're talking past each other. We're trying to solve systemic root cause issues, and Democrats are trying to lick the wounds of broken people. Both need to come together in many respects, and a unique person that has those capabilities, the sensitivity of a human like you saw, who's given millions of dollars to charity, Mitt Romney, but also the the rock-solid analytical mind to look at systemic causes of social problems. So, join up with Act for America. Tune in tonight for 6:30 on TrentoVision.tv. And Tom Trento telling you, vote for Mitt Romney. Let's let President Obama hang out with Bill Clinton, and both of them can be two swinging and wild, crazy guys running around the globe. See you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good. We're still live.
Okay.